The House That Pays You, $10,000 fiction horror story. What if someone offered you $10,000 just to spend one night in an abandoned house? Most people would say yes without thinking. After all, it's only one night. But in a small town on the edge of Australia, there is a house that has terrified people for decades. The reward is always the same: $10,000 in cash. The rule is simple: walk into the house before midnight. Stay inside until sunrise, and whatever happens, never, ever open the front door after 3 o'clock in the morning. Nobody knows who made the rule. Nobody knows who leaves the money. But everyone knows one thing: every person who has tried has run away before sunrise. Some refused to speak ever again. Others simply disappeared from town forever. One cold autumn evening, a 28-year-old photographer named Ethan decided to accept the challenge. He laughed when the locals warned him. "They're just ghost stories," he said. He packed a flashlight, a camera, food, water, and a sleeping bag. At exactly 11:45 p.m., he entered the house. The front door slammed shut behind him. The house was silent. Dust covered every piece of furniture. Old family photos still hung on the walls. A grandfather clock ticked slowly in the hallway. Everything felt frozen in time. Midnight arrived. Nothing happened. 1 o'clock. Still nothing. Ethan smiled at the camera. "This is the easiest $10,000 I've ever made." But at exactly 2:17 a.m., the grandfather clock suddenly stopped ticking. The silence became unbearable. Then, footsteps, slow, heavy, coming from upstairs. Ethan grabbed his flashlight. He searched every room. Nothing. No one. Yet the footsteps continued, as if someone was walking directly above his head. He rushed back downstairs. The footsteps stopped. Then every light in the house flickered at once. His camera suddenly turned on by itself. On the screen, there was someone standing behind him. Ethan spun around. Nobody. His breathing became faster. He checked the recording again. The figure was gone. 2:59. Only 1 minute remained. He remembered the warning: never open the front door after 3. Then, 3 loud knocks echoed through the house. Bang, 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 exactly 3 a.m. A calm voice came from outside. "Ethan, open the door." It sounded like his mother, but his mother had died 5 years earlier. Again. 3 knocks. "Ethan, please." His hands shook. Every instinct told him to open the door, but he remembered the rule. He stepped away. The knocking became louder, then angry. The entire house began to shake. Windows rattled. Pictures fell from the walls. The voice changed. It no longer sounded human. It screamed his name. For nearly an hour, the knocking never stopped. Then, as suddenly as it began, everything became silent. Morning sunlight entered through the dusty windows. Ethan slowly opened the front door. Outside, no footprints, no people, nothing. Only a small wooden table. On it sat an envelope. Inside was exactly $10,000 and a single piece of paper. It read, "Congratulations. You are the first person who refused to let us in." Ethan looked back at the house. One upstairs window slowly opened by itself. Someone, or something, was watching him leave. He never returned. Months later, the reward doubled to $20,000. A new volunteer entered the house, and once again, at exactly 3 a.m., someone knocked on the door. So here's the question. Would you stay in that house for $10,000? Or would you run before 3 in the morning? Comment yes or no.